The Epstein list isn't going to be held accountable because people on that list are who make our laws and have the power. But what matters is if we hold them accountable. I researched the unwritten rules of work for the working class and neurodivergence. I recently wrote a book about it, and I have recommendations in it for people leaders, staff, and HR. And something that I think about a lot is there's always going to be people who abuse unwritten rules and cultural norms and put on a facade to appeal to what people want to hear. And what matters is that we stop falling for it. We have cultural perceptions. Every culture has it, but I'm going to talk about ours in the US, and the West really. Every culture has an idea of what a leader is. And in our culture, we have a very toxic perception of this macho white man, of no empathy, of a bully, and we stigmatize men who don't fall into that stereotype, and we also stereotype women or stigmatize women who do. And we fall for and excuse bad behavior because it is in line with what has been normalized for us to see as worthy of power. And an interesting thing about research on authoritarian leaders specifically, which require a lot of fear, and they're very much bullies, is that a lot of the research is on the followers and not the leaders themselves. And why? Because there's always someone who wants to be a dictator. What matters is what about the people who are successful help them convince other people to let them be in a position of power. Because without that, without the following, you're just an insane man screaming on a soapbox. Or woman, but the successful ones are usually men because we allow that behavior more from white men. And we stigmatize and call sissies the ones who aren't. And it's really weird to have written this book over the past year and a half where we had major changes, where we had one of the most famous CEOs in the world, Elon Musk, publicly saying empathy is a bad thing. And then we wonder why you're so treated inhumanely at work. And this just applies to everything on, are we going to forgive the Epstein list for being on the Epstein list? Are we going to continue to vote for them and buy their products and make excuses for them? Whether in work or politics, are we going to let them off the hook? Are we going to keep making excuses for men who are way too old to be going for barely 18-year-olds? Are we going to critique media for casting 18-year-old actors in 30-year-old woman roles with way older romantic interests partnered with them in movies? Are we going to keep normalizing these things that lead to abusive environments and PDF environments? Because we have more power than we realize, but it's collective power. It is not on our own. So it's a very frustrating time to be seeing all this shit. And it's a lot easier to say, oh, they're never going to get held accountable, there's nothing we can do, than to say, I need to start questioning these behaviors more in my everyday life and talking to people about it and not normalizing this because it's bad for all of us.